Andy and Paul continue their investigation at Mount Wilson Ranch, a property once owned by the elusive aerospace billionaire Robert Bigelow, at the same time that he owns Skinwalker Ranch. There are rumors that Bigelow and his team were searching for something mysterious buried under the lower meadow.
So you have Bigelow's researchers following up with you because they believe there might be some sort of alien craft buried in a meadow on this property.
Apparently down in the meadow, there's something that emits a signal. A lot of history in the ground around here.
The team is going to use an old-school video projector left behind at the ranch by Robert Bigelow. They'll project light patterns onto a cabin on the edge of the lower meadow to see if they can elicit a response from the possible alien craft that might be buried 200 feet below them. The team will use their modern tech to measure whether stimulating the lower meadow with Bigelow's old equipment will trigger a response.
So we have a hell of a setup tonight. We've got 2 different generations of thermal cameras that are set on the front of this house. We've got UFO DAPs, that's these 2 AI eyes in the sky.
They'll scan anything that might fly over, so if there's a UAP, UFO, we might catch it.
Correct. We also got our spectrum analyzer going. That's going to give us a really strong idea of what's going on in the radio spectrum, as well as the ability to track FAA and satellites overhead to rule out any false positive hits that we see from potential sightings in the sky.
As soon as the sun goes down, we'll get the show started.
Let's do it.
It looks like we have everything set up. I think it's time to start the main crux of the experiment.
Jeff, you want to fire up the projector?
Let's put power to it.
I'm going to turn on our spectrum analyzer as well, get a sense of baseline, monitoring 1.611 to start.
What device is that coming in on, Andy?
Our spectrum analyzer right here is picking up through this antenna.
Gotcha.
You guys ready?
Ready?
Yep.
All right, here we go.
All right.
Oh, look at that.
Looks like it's working, Jeff.
While sending out light patterns from Bigelow's old projector to provoke a response, and not seeing any strange activity in the Earth to space 1.6 gigahertz frequency range, Andy decides to scan the lower frequencies on the spectrum analyzer.
So here is what it looks like, very, very low frequency. What are these?
Whoa. Oh, already.
Yeah. As soon as you turn on the projector, we saw a wide spectrum response here. We're seeing frequencies that have some sort of overlap with visual cues. And look at this. In such a low frequency band, man.
What could that be?
I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. What I do know is that this intensity zone is a zone that we can respond back on.
Play back?
Yeah, because we have a tone generator, and we can use a tone generator to play back the exact same frequency in a tone.
After detecting a significant incoming signal in an ultra-low frequency zone, the team decides to call an audible and use their tone generator to respond by broadcasting a sound.
Let me see if I can find the peak so we can try and get as close as possible. Looks like this is at 68.
Since ultra-low frequencies are used to communicate long distances that can travel thousands of miles through the Earth, then sending a signal on the same low frequency may be the best way to communicate with whatever might be buried 200 feet below them.
I can feel that in my feet. That's ultra low frequency. That's going to be sending vibrations for miles.
What is going on there?
You can see the changing in intensity, but it's more
I was
focused.
gonna say,
And there's
Whoa.
our wide spectrum. Look at how strong and intense. It's like fire, man. There's absolutely something happening that's causing this bleed effect when we send out an audio signal at 68 hertz.
Shown as a widening of the graphic display on a spectrum analyzer, the bleed effect means the team is receiving an intense communication signal.
is it a transmission?
I don't know. It's a crystal clear correlation, man. The two are related, but I don't know why. At 68 hertz, we seem to be triggering a much wider response in the radio spectrum.
Which is just bizarre. The idea that an audible tone triggers a radio frequency difference. I mean, there's no logical connection between
No,
those
two completely different forms of energy. Let's turn it off, Paul, and see if it persists. I mean, look at this, is unlike anything we were seeing before. And it started a few seconds after we turned on 68 hertz.
Yeah.
And now it's starting to fade away a few seconds after we stopped it. It's like the sound that we're creating is somehow causing a reaction in whatever is producing this.
Maybe this is some kind of a communication.
Like something is hearing it and responding.
We might be reaching the manta ray 200 feet down with a vibration coming from our speaker.
Unbelievable.
Wow.
All we're doing right now is playing the same frequency back that we were receiving in our RF spectrum, and we're seeing an actual response in terms of radio energy. Whatever this anomaly is that's more than 200 feet underground, it really does seem like we are engaging it somehow with our tone generator. I mean, think about this. This is what Bigelow was looking for when he came to Mount Wilson. Are we potentially communicating with the highly conductive mass, the rumored downed spacecraft buried in the lower meadow? I can absolutely see why Bigelow went crazy with this ranch. This lower meadow it's absolutely the hottest of hotspots on Mount Wilson.
Well, it's great to be back with you guys, and we are anxious to hear what happened at the mysterious Mount Wilson Ranch.
So there's one event in the lower meadow that I want to share with you. We executed an experiment using projectors that we found on site, projectors that were from the Bigelow era, and actually try to replicate the sort of experimentation that the Bigelow team would have used when they were here on the ranch.
And we are on top of whatever that is that's buried under the lower meadow.
During that projection, we identified an ultra low frequency that was emanating from the area, 68 hertz. We took that, turned it around, and put it back into the environment by projecting it out of our own tone generator. When we did that, we actually saw a change in the RF spectrum where the original signal seemed to intensify.
So it's almost as if you're getting a response. There is an answer, if you will, coming back.
That's what it felt like we were doing. We're putting out something and we're getting something back.
It really does look like some type of communication.
Wow. It makes me think that there's still an experiment going on, something's left on, somehow you stimulated it.
We're seeing the same type of unexplainable readings. You take all of the equipment malfunctions, the failures, even the high strangeness, and I think we're on the verge of getting answers for the first time.
Well, we certainly have data we've never had. I cannot believe that there wasn't more things like black SUVs and helicopters showing up. Bigelow knew there was something buried out there, so what did he know was there, and why did he leave it? Who or what came to Bigelow and told him to get the hell out of there? And he got out of there.
What you experienced could very well be part of a monitoring effort to watch, observe, and meddle in the investigation.
You guys may have had a nefarious set of oligarchs watching you or a foreign intelligence organization watching you.
But why deploy the resources and the technology
unless they know something's
in the
there?
middle of nowhere? I look at this scenario with Mount Wilson and the fact that I know for certain that no one really anticipated our investigation at Skinwalker Ranch advancing to the level it has today.
Oh, yeah.
This all begs the question, could this be some secret government installation, or is it a crash site? You know, what is the true nature of the Mount Wilson property? And why was it abandoned so quickly?
I need to stare at this thing again and again until I understand it, because none of this makes any sense to me.
It still feels like there's more to be discovered there.
Oh, Lord have mercy. We're not done at Mount Wilson. There's something big right there, and Bigelow missed it or was told to get away from it.
This could be far stranger than ghosts and aliens.
I don't know what this is, but it's weird. Good stuff, guys.
Bravo.
Absolutely. All right, fellas.
All right, thanks,
Thank
guys.
you so much. Awesome stuff, man.
Wow.
Appreciate it.
Great stuff.
Fantastic job, guys.
Thank you so much, Paul.
Thank you.
Wow. Awesome.
All right.
work.